So you kind of very often will just slide into the caregiving role. And we really need for that individual to come and get some help, some advice, some assistance as early as possible. Because the sooner you get assistance and help, the longer you're going to be able to be a caregiver.
And we didn't know she had dementia. And then suddenly she started to not know who I was, think I was a stranger in her bedroom, think I was my father's girlfriend, which he never had. They were so deeply in love for 58 years that was bizarre. And all kinds of things, and I had no idea what was going on.
I have probably been a caregiver for more than 5 years. And at first, I don't realize what's going on. And then little by little, I was taking on more responsibility at home, and I became accustomed to having a question asked again and again.
It's funny how quickly the bizarre becomes the norm. You begin to expect it. At first you cry, and then you get through that and you realize you have to do what's best for them.
She was a painter. She painted, and actually her paintings were sold both in Pittsburgh and here. I'm doing a little bragging because right now you wouldn't believe that she accomplished all those things. For 10 years she was a docent at the Carnegie Museum of Art, conducted tours. So she was a very accomplished lady. Now she unfortunately doesn't know the time of day, the day of the week, or month of the year.
When I heard the diagnosis that my mother had Alzheimer's, it was kind of scary at first because you don't know who to turn to, where do I go for help.
When we opened the Caregiver Resource Center a year and a half ago, it was an opportunity to do a collaborative effort in the community for caregivers to have one place where they could go for all the wonderful resources that we have in our community. There are so many resources that very often individuals don't know where to go and what to do.
It's necessary for somebody who's taking care of an Alzheimer's patient to have lots of support, because it's a tough job, and you have your hands full, so there's nothing wrong with asking for support and help.
It takes over your life. You have no life. They have no life, and you have no life. And the only way you will ever get through it is with help.
When you come into the Caregiver Resource Center, oftentimes you really don't know completely what you need. You may have an idea of one thing that you need. I ask you your story because I think that's the most important thing. Where are you at? What do you think your needs are? And then we can look at that. We can evaluate what those needs are. We can possibly provide options that you didn't even know were available to you.
When you get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, dementia, or whatever situation you have to deal with for a loved one, you want to know that you have some place to turn to, some organization. Where do I go for help? Help me become a better caregiver. And I received that information, I received that help through Senior Friendship, through the Caregiver Resource Center, and all that they have to offer. It's immeasurable, the amount of help and care that I received from Senior Friendship.
Sometimes knowing how to deal with the disease and realizing, especially when you're dealing with something such as dementia, it is the disease often that causes the behaviors that you're having to deal with. And I think once people understand the disease process and understand that your loved one is still your loved one, and some of those behaviors that you're seeing are not them, it is the disease that you're dealing with. And sometimes just understanding that makes it easier to go through a day. And even though sometimes things are hurtful, I think it's an understanding that this isn't dad, so to speak, if that were the case. This is the disease.
They had a support group that Kathleen ran that was very helpful, where you met other people with day-to-day situations the same as yours or different, and you learned how they handled it. And there's something to be said for that type of support, for knowing other people are out there doing the same thing that you're doing in different ways.
Almost anything that a caregiver needs, we can coordinate that and put them in touch with the community resources that would be able to help them in their caregiving role. Additionally, of course, we have the wonderful living room program, which is a supervised respite day program for individuals to provide socialization and stimulation, and of course for a caregiver, respite time for them to be able to do the things that they enjoy.
Just the minute she came in, "Hi Ellie, how you doing today? What a beautiful necklace." "Oh, thank you." And she would come out of the car mad at me, not smiling, and come in here, smile, go in there, and never even look around to see where I was. She could care less.
The stress on an individual, emotionally, physically, is unbelievable. So it's very often they become ill and they are unable maybe to even do their caregiving role, or they may pass, and then their loved one's left with no one to care for them. And that's one of the hard facts of caregiving that we try to let them know. We need to keep you healthy because you are the main caregiver for your loved one. And if you're not healthy, you can't do that.
Having a safe place for my mother at the living room program was a godsend. I really believe, from not so much a religious but a spiritual sense, that we were guided to be here and that these people are angels on earth. They do things that no one else can do, and they bring out the best in the worst situation. I can't say enough about them. They cherished my mother like I cherished my mother, and they did it with love.
If you believe that you're becoming a caregiver, please don't wait. Call Senior Friendship. We can help you.